Thank you, Miss Diana. First thing we're going to do is, however everybody's sitting, make sure your chair is so you're facing this direction. For the most part, I'm going to be in this area. I may not be able to make my way down too much, so we don't want you twisting your necks and all that. Right? Okay, well, we've done talks just like this many times, but I always like to try to change a little bit. Change a slide, change a little something we're talking about. And today, one of the things I was doing was I was working on changing the name of it. So I asked my son Max, who's 8, and he's been under care, just like all my kids, their whole life, under this care. So I just said today, he's home from school, sitting down, I said, so Max, what should I name the talk? So the first one was, Save Your Life. So I didn't use it, but I wanted to tell you so you heard it. Not a bad one, not a bad one for a kid who's been under this care his whole life. Then he thought about it for a minute, and then he said, this is your chance to do something special. So those were Max's names for tonight's talk. So you could put that in if you like that one better. That's fine with me. First thing I want to say is, first of all, thank you all for being here. I know that there's so many things you could be doing other than this, and you know, a lot of you probably put off other things to be here, and I want you to know I appreciate that. Okay. Some of you are patients, some of you are not. And that's okay. I think everybody here is going to take something home with them. They're going to learn tonight, even though we may talk many times as far as patients go. We're going to cover things a little bit differently. We're going to have questions at the end. So just so you know, as we go, we don't really want to have hands up and questions as we go. Hopefully I'll answer that question you may have thought of before we get to the end, but we'll have a question time at the end as well, okay? So, what we're gonna do is just kind of move on here and get started. So the first thing we ask of everyone, especially the non-patients at this time, is to kind of open your mind, okay? Just kind of be a little relaxed. I know that there's many times that, especially when it comes to health, there's so much information out there. And you could be bombarded with it. And how do you know what to believe? What could be true, what could not be true? I'm not going to just tell you, just believe everything I say. That wouldn't be fair, okay? But I will say, just kind of be a little relaxed tonight. Just enjoy and let it soak in. And if it sounds like something that could make any sense to you, then it's okay. Don't resist. Just let it kind of be. You can decide. Of course, if there's something you don't agree with or you know, you don't believe, then that's fine too. I'm not here to force anything on any one of you. Hopefully I'm here to help open things up for you and help educate you in a way that maybe you've never thought of before. So again, this is going to be a night that's going to be very well worth it for every one of you here, okay? So basically what we said was, well, you can get information, of course, from doctors. These days, everybody can go online and you can question everything. And I encourage that. And I even tell patients that. I'll definitely recommend things, but I'll say, hey, don't just believe it because I said it. Go question it. Go look it up. That's fine. But do the same thing with all the doctors as well. Don't just take anything as gospel just because someone said it. Research it. And so, again, we have people here who are patients. We have myself here. You're welcome. I mean, I don't think there's any patient here, and correct me if I'm wrong, who wouldn't mind talking to someone who's not a patient to get that kind of aspect of it. And I'm fine with that. Actually, I encourage that. Right now, I'm about as happy as I could be just for the fact of having this many patients, you know, together in a room together. I love it. A lot of times in the office, just when there's even a couple people start talking, it makes me happy. I like when my patients get together. So this is a night that's a lot for me as much as it is for you. Okay, a few words, because we may say some things tonight that you may not be familiar with, especially non-patients. So I'm going to run through this kind of quick, just to give you a quick idea on that. So the first one is adjustment. You may have heard it before, especially if you've ever been to a chiropractor ever, but actually the adjustment that we do is a specific adjustment, and it's done only in the upper cervical area near the occiput, which is the base of the skull, C1 and C2. This is a larger model, about twice the size in real life, and this is the area that we talk about. That opening in there, the brainstem goes through. Brainstem controls and runs everything. Okay? We call it Houston control of the body. All messages come through here. So we just want to make sure this area is wide open. It's pretty simple. We're going to probably go over that a bunch of times tonight, just to make sure you kind of get that. Atlas and then axis. That's these top bones. This one here is atlas, the top bone of the neck, or C1. Also, if you ever saw in Greek mythology, the big muscle guy holds up the globe or the world. Well, your atlas holds up your globe, your world, your brain and your head. Then your head and atlas will rotate around and pivot around this post here. This is the dens, but this bone is called the axis or C2. Okay? Brainstem, okay? We're starting to get these terms and repeating already. The brainstem is the brain is going to be up in the head, but the lower part of the brain or the brainstem is going to descend down through this hole here. In many cases can go as far as C3, certainly as far as C2. Again, the brainstem runs and controls everything in the body below. It's all the nerves that come through. They're all going to come through there. It's